Hi guys, welcome back to another segment of KBA's MaarghaDarshana webinar series. Today, we will be talking about the pressures that come with college and some ways that you can deal with it. My name is Hithaishi Chandra and I'm a rising junior at Rutgers University majoring in finance.
Hi guys, I'm Shreya Shekar. I'm a rising sophomore at Rutgers University majoring in aerospace engineering.
Hi everyone, I'm Shreya Shekar. I'm a rising sophomore at Rutgers University, majoring in biomedical engineering.
This episode is brought to you by the New Jersey Career Bus.
What were some things that you found were your biggest struggles as a freshman?
Um, One, like I mentioned before, it has to be that I'm commuting.
Yeah.
I wish I was definitely more active. If please be active. That kind of gives you your entire foundation because time management, networking, your study habits change. They'll like everything shapes that. So like don't be like I'm gonna focus on studying, I'm gonna take my time. Take your time, yes. But at the same time start slow but keep being active. I think that was something I struggled with and I hopefully will, be better at it.
This also ties back into how you manage your time.
Yeah.
A lot of it probably will. Shrujal, do you have anything?
I do not have anything.
You have no struggles?
Well, struggles, but uh,
Struggle was able to go through freshman year just with no struggles. He was
my struggles were that I didn't really manage my time properly, so that messed me up really bad. I didn't really go I was like, oh, I don't need help. I was like overconfident. That was not true. I needed help. Um, do you if you need help, go get help. Like any type of help. If you need mental help, go. There's a lot of resources for mental health. There's a lot of resources if you're like homesick. There's all these resources. Utilize all of them in your first year.
And another thing I would say is like being prepared, your preparedness for each class in the terms like figure out what method works best for you because for me it didn't really like apply the same method for every single class like in terms of note taking. Every professor is different. You're gonna get really bad professors. Some professors are good. Some of them give you handwritten notes or like condensed slides. Some of them give you 300 slides if you have to go back. So you have to find your own materials. And there's so many good YouTube channels and like professors that way. So talk to people, make friends, and really help each other out. You have to really find a way that works for you for each class. And you have to keep doing that for every semester.
Yeah. It's hard to figure out what's gonna work for you and everything. Everything is very much a trial and error
Mm-hmm.
type situation, but once you get the hang of it, I feel like you can always, recycle your own your own routine for the next few semesters. What I found was one of the hardest parts about first semester was living away from home. Shreya said hers was commuting and the social aspect of that. For me, it was I was there 24/7 and I wanted to go home. Homesickness was a big thing. A lot of my friends also struggle with that. I was lucky enough to only be a half hour away, so I was able to go home on the weekends if I really wanted to. But a lot of my friends were out of state, they're 2, 3 hours away. They can't just be going. So, being that far away from home is also really difficult. So, call your parents, talk to them every day.
Definitely.
I feel like that's such a good way to relieve your stress as well. And it also just makes your parents feel good because, you're still.
Yeah, and catch up with your old friends too, make plans.
Oh yeah, if you're if you have high school friends, I used to FaceTime my friends on a daily. We would just talk midnight. So that's also a great way to just keep you close to home.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And this is really important for mental health.
Yeah.
And, if you're in a good mood, it helps you focus in class. Like I said, please eat because if you don't eat, I personally lived a very inverse, bad relationship that if you don't eat, you're going to do bad in your classes, which is really true. Because you can't focus because it's all listening to your professor yap, right? So you have to really pay attention.
You need to be healthy. You need to be able to get enough sleep. You need to be eating good food.
And one
Water.
important thing is don't compare yourself to your friends or your peers because everyone is different, you know? Some people are strong in like a certain subject, some people are not. Certain study methods, they only work for some people, right? And like Hithaishi is a business major. I am engineering. We have different workloads, we have different classes. But I can't compare my schedule with her and I can't be like, hey, Hitaishi's going out tonight. Let me go out. It's not gonna work like that. You have to, plan your own schedule.
Yeah. As much as like being social and being like active in your community is good, you have to also realize like what's your priority. And
Exactly.
you're there to learn, you're there to get a degree first and foremost. So putting your education first, putting your like
Mental health.
yeah, your mental health, making sure you have enough time to study and making sure you have enough time to like do well in your classes, it's way more important than just like going out and having fun all the time.
Yes.
And I think that's a great segue into another struggle is like the workload in college is like
It's completely different.
and its course is way
different.
faster and there's a lot more
Yes.
so much more content and a lot less time. Like for AP classes, you get the entire year for like half of the stuff that you're going to be doing in college. And you only have 4 months for that course in college because it's all semester based. Actually, I think there are a few colleges that are like trimesters or like stuff like that.
It really depends, but most colleges are semesters.
Yeah.
So,
Even I feel like it's harder if it's less than a semester, by the way.
yeah.
But you really need to be able to keep on top of your work. And like as Shrujal had mentioned before, exams, you have maybe
One or two, and they could be worth 50%.
and they could just be your entire grade
And nothing else.
else.
Nothing else. I've had classes like that. They're the worst. No assignment credit, nothing. So if you don't have assignments, that means you're more independent. You have to study, right? You have no way to kind of reinforce that knowledge, what makes it harder.
And I think the worst habit that you could ever pick up with the classes that rely on exams is like not doing any of the work in the middle. Like if you have assignments or like your professor gives you stuff to do as a way to study and you don't do them, you are setting yourself up for failure on those exams because genuinely if your entire grade is worth on your final exam and you're not studying and you're not doing enough for that final exam, you're not going to pass. So really, really put your mind into making sure you're understanding the content.
And not to scare anyone, but it is true. Being a straight A student in high school does nowhere near translate to getting A's or even B's in your college. You're gonna be in a slump, I'm gonna say, but like honestly, don't compare that. And you're new, you have to set a new record for yourself in college.
Yeah.
I would like to give a warning is that not every professor is gonna have the same grading way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just percentage wise, like some professors they give it through mastery, some professors have it through like different weights per thing
Distribution.
distribution. So really watch out. Look through your syllabus.
Understand your
Understand the syllabus. Yeah, that's one
Had
big thing.
I've had so many classes where an A is a 93 and anything below a 93 is like a B. So
Yeah.
that is going to immediately affect your GPA if you think a 90 is going to be an A when it's not.
It's not. And for
Right.
chemistry for me, an A was 80. So imagine how hard that class is.
Yeah, it's so hard. But again, the syllabus is very important. So make sure you read that thing. You should be able to recite it like the first class. Like you should.
A lot of professors don't like it when you go up to them and ask something really silly whenever it's on the syllabus.
Yeah.
Your first resource should be your syllabus. That's the first thing you should go to for any type of question.
Also, not to scare everyone. I know like academics are really important, but like on the weekends, go out, have fun, hang out with your friends. I know just because college is like all like I just have to stay in my dorm and like
Do
study.
not recommend that either.
Don't do that. Like you're gonna
Because if you are not in a
mentally
good mental state, you're not going to study properly.
And I understand that everything is like so controversial. Like we're saying complete opposites right now, but it's all about balance.
It should balance out is the key.
And it's all about knowing when you should be doing things because you can always plan it out. Like if you finish this, then you're free for like a couple of days. Then you can go out and have fun. And
You are responsible for yourself.
you have a lot of freedom and you need to be using that wisely. Like everyone says like, oh, college is the best 4 years of your life. And they're right. But it's only if you know how to manage those 4 years because if you don't, then you're either going to be having like too much stress or you're just gonna have like not enough stress where like you're failing college. Balance is so important.
And there's some people that I had some, not to mention anything, but I had some friends or classmates that would not come to class, but it's not like they're partying. They would just be in their dorm all day.
Yeah,
People do that. But that, saying that I'll self-study, but it might work for some people, but that's not something I would recommend. Please go to class for as much as you can. But I understand sometimes you just can't get up and go. But that's another very important thing. Find a way that, see if you're an adult, see if you're an early bird, make your schedules based off that, because if you don't function well in late night classes, don't take it. Just so you can wake up, later. Don't do that. Do when you learn best, because I learn best in the mornings. So I try to start my day by 8:30. And I don't like to, like, I get really exhausted by 6. I don't want to be in class by past 6. So I never schedule classes past 6, especially since I'm a commuter. I want to come in early and leave early.
And honestly, I'm the exact same way. I started taking a lot more 8:30 classes and like very early morning classes just because starting my day out early was the best for me
Exactly.
because then I will be able to like finish all my stuff in the daytime. And then I'm still like a night owl, so I will still stay up a little later.
Puts you in a good routine,
Yeah. Freshmen kind of struggle with your schedule since you guys have to pick last. But, we all made it work, so you guys can too. Not an issue.
Oh, yeah. Another reason why I chose early morning classes is because commuting was so much easier, even on campus. We have Rutgers buses.
Oh my gosh.
So that was something. We have like 100 buses that go across 5 different campuses for Rutgers, and we can't physically walk to our classes because that's how big Rutgers is. So we have bus systems. And when I start my day early, there's no one on the bus. I can use my app, see where the bus is, get in really easy, get to my destination without traffic and everything, because we take the main road and that. So that's like another reason. Yeah.
And if you're in the city, if your college is in a city setting,
Mm.
2 p.m. is not a good time to be out.
Yeah, if you're going to like a campus, like a college with no campus, like something like NYU or like, stuff like that, you're gonna be on the subway, you're gonna be on the streets a lot. So just
No one to schedule.
yes, I don't want to be going to your classes and all of that. And I know the bus system is very unique to Rutgers. Rutgers is like they're just weird.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other campuses are a lot smaller. So, time out when you have to like walk to class, time out when is the best time to be going so that
That's what we call walking your classes, right? Right before things on, like, map out how long it takes you to walk. If we take buses, it's different. Even then, we're pretty late, but never schedule your classes back to back unless they're right next to each other.
yeah, I don't know how other universities do it, but Rutgers literally does.
They don't even allow it. They don't allow it.
If you're in like a different area of Rutgers, you have to have like 40 minutes between classes, and then no matter where you are, classes are always scheduled like 30 minutes apart. So I don't know how it works anywhere else, but hopefully.
But even then, I would recommend having a time gap, at least 40 minutes, so you can, grab lunch or like.
It all does depend on when, like, it depends on, like, how the university, like, schedules it, though, because
Okay, yeah,
Rutgers does it that way, but,
I mean, if you have a choice, I would recommend having a time gap, just so you can get a mental break, because the lectures are an hour and a half long. There's no way you want to sit through another one right after.
yeah. Okay, so we talked a lot about, like, struggles in college and all of that. So, for your academic pressures and anything related to your studies, burnout culture is real. You can get burned out really easily if you're too focused on your academics and you're only studying. And you should know when to take a break and you should know how to balance schoolwork with self-care. It's really, really
And we have personally lived through that burnout, and it is the worst thing ever. And then especially this is very predominant during exam season, and you need to take breaks. Even I understand, like, I lived at home. I had parents always watching over me. They're like, you better be studying and stuff like that. But parents, please understand, this is not high school. Like, studying these topics takes a lot of time.
yeah.
And you need to review by yourself and get that information through your own head. Like, there's no teacher can try to shove it down your head or, yeah, anything. So you need to take breaks, even if it's 5 minutes. Like, do the Pomodoro method, I guess. That's a really good way I study. Um, sometimes you just gotta change like study places. I like to go to the library or like sit outside rather than my room, even though I commute.
Yeah, having designated study spots is always a great way. Like, I never used to study in my dorm. I would always have like 2 to 4 different buildings where I would always study. That way when I get to my dorm, I could just, like, relax and
Yeah, right. I didn't like to come home and study like all night. I would like after my classes, I would study for an hour or two, and then home is for me is not school. Home is home. So I like to kind of relax, spend time with family, get that pressure off, talk to friends, like you said.
And another thing I would say is that taking breaks within the day is also really important. So, plan it out so that you study for a little bit and then maybe you go out and get like a sweet treat with your friends or you go do something fun. One thing that I loved about Rutgers specifically is that we have a programming club and they host events like just being random events throughout the year. So sometimes they would bring out like the petting zoo. So
Yeah.
for like a couple hours, you could go and pet bunnies and like look at the goats and stuff like that.
I feel like many clubs do this all the time. In the middle, I would have man has like a high school social or something, and just go to that. Or sometimes they have like paint a mug. Those are all really fun. Get your picture taken, free headshots. You have networking events in the middle of the day. You can go through that, like sit through a talk.
There's a lot of different ways that you can take a break from academics, but still be doing something like a little bit productive if you're like stingy about that. But it's really important to take breaks in between studying and try not to just spend 12 hours doing the exact same thing.
Live through that. That's the worst thing ever.
And I think that also just plays into making sure you can balance your social life with your studies. Having friends is like one of the best ways to help your mental health, you know? And Shreya talked about this. Peer pressure. Don't compare yourself to other people. Peer pressure is
Really real.
it's huge in high school and it's huge and bigger in college. And I think in college there's like worse consequences for something like peer pressure because it's not just about like competition in academics. There's like other things that you should be wary of. But your performance, your grades, that does not is not a reflection of your entire personality. It is really not a reflection of what
There could be one bad class. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're human. You're not perfect at everything. So get the help you need, even after getting that help. And if you can only get to a certain level, that is totally fine.
Mhm.
It's not the end of the world. There's options to retake classes.
Yeah.
If you really need to come back with a better grade. It depends on your college, but it's not something you should really burn yourself out on.
Yeah. No, it's not the end of the world if you get like one bad grade or a few bad grades. College is hard.
It is very hard indeed.
It's so difficult.
Parents, please understand your kid.
Yeah,
It's
parents,
great.
please understand. If your kid fails a class, they can always retake it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something obviously we would
Don't make it a goal to make it.
but if it happens.
If it happens in the end, remember that failure leads to success in one or another.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing if you're doing bad in a class. It's a huge change from high school to college. You're expected to do a lot more things. It's not just about more academic work, but there's so many other things that you have to focus on. One thing we need to emphasize is the importance of your mental health and making sure you're able to take care of yourself and put yourself first, even with all of the academic pressures and all of the social pressures and all of these different things that's going to be trying to claw away at you at the exact same time.
Definitely.
So there's a lot of coping methods that you should try. I know our university offers resources like on-campus therapists and like all these different things. Those might not be for you, but I'm sure every college has these sort of resources. You should definitely check them out and see if they would be helpful to you. Other coping mechanisms though, like
Use out your friends. Yes. And for me, coping was just calling my mom, calling my friends and be like, hey, like, this was my day. It was pretty shitty. How are you? Like, we just randomly get lost in conversation. That was enough for me. And, just come home. Like I said, if I finish all my studying on campus, I come home, just like get into my good show and like, relax. That would put me in a really good mood. Those are really good coping methods. It's not, oh yeah, I would need to go talk to a counselor. You can do that, of course. But
yeah.
for me, I just needed to physically and mentally take my mind off.
Yeah, hobbies are also a really great way to dance. Yeah, so dancing, gym, going working out. I think for me, I would come back to my dorm and I would like pick up a book and I would read before bed, or me and my roommate would watch a show together. We would just sit and we would talk until like 3 a.m. Yeah, if you like,
You can, you know, is even if you dorm, they have communal kitchens.
I never had communal kitchen.
Really?
My residence hall did not have communal kitchens. Some did.
Most colleges do. I think, yeah, there is around. You can rent out kitchens all the time.
We got AC, so we didn't get a kitchen.
Yeah, you'll get one thing, you don't get another in college. You gotta make use of it.
There's always some sort of sacrifice. But again, is there anything else you want to add, Shrujal? How did you cope with pressure?
Honestly, talking with my friends, like Shreya said, that was main thing. Like if I ever felt down, I'd FaceTime my friend, and as I FaceTime my friend, or go to one of my friends. Like if they were free, I text them, go to one of my friends, hang out with them for a bit, and then maybe start studying with them. My friends are really helpful with coping from studying stress, and it's just stress from college overall.
Honestly, having friends is such a good thing. Like, I remember the reason I never had like any major crash outs is because I literally had a few friends that we would spend like 24/7 together. Like, we would be in the same classes, we would eat together, we would just study together. We would spend literally like from 8 a.m. to 10, 12 p.m. Like, I would be with them, and then I would go to my dorm. And then even in my dorm, I wouldn't be alone. So, as someone who's like really extroverted and like as someone who genuinely doesn't feel good if I'm not around people, that was so good for me.
And
Yeah, it's a great.
I'm the same way. So like being, it doesn't have to be a large friend group. I feel like I was always blessed with a large friend group all throughout, like when I was a kid, even throughout high school, and it was a sudden change in college. You don't get like a friend group.
Yeah, you're not immediately just like in like this huge friend group. It takes a while to curate.
Some people it actually works. I've actually seen on the day of my orientation, I've seen a bunch of guys just like instantly connect and they have a group chat now.
Yeah, really depends.
Yeah, I mean, it takes some time, but at least 2, 3 like really close friends also makes a huge difference. So, yeah, I think that kind of wraps up.
Yeah, so
Thank you for listening. We hope this episode was useful to you guys and you learned something from it. Please look forward to our next segment. Thank you. Bye.